Hi everyone, my name is Ruhi Shah, and I will be starting off with session one of our 5 video series about using Java and applying it to robotics. So first, what is Java? Java is a very popular programming language which was created in 1995, and right now it is owned by a company named Oracle. So Java has many different applications and ways that it can be used, and these include mobile applications, especially in Android apps, desktop applications, website applications, web servers and application servers, games, and database connection. There's definitely a lot more applications out there, but these are some of the main ones. Yeah, so Java is very similar to some other coding languages like C++ and C Sharp. If you know those, then it'll give you a little bit of a leg up in Java because the concepts and syntax is similar. And yeah, Java is an object-oriented language, so it has a very specific structure which you need to follow. And Java is open sourced and free. Okay, so first let's go through an introduction to the Java programming environment. So all the code over here will be shown using Replit. So it's pretty difficult to download Java. So we're just going to use replit.com, which is an easy website to just code and then run to show the output. You can just go to this website, replit.com, create an account, and then start a project. And then once you have started a project, you will see this code, which is just the basic code in any Java file. It shows that you have created a new class called main, and then this is your main method inside of which you're going to write all your code that you want to run when you press run. Yeah, so exactly as I just said. So all the code will be written in main.java. That's the name of the class. And every line of the code must be in this class. The default one is called main, and it is case sensitive. So if you ever need to call it, you need to make sure that it is with a capital M. And then the next method right here is the standard code to run something when you hit the run program. So don't worry about writing this right now or understanding it. Just know that you need to always have this whenever you're writing in Java. And then inside this, we can see it right now, this is a print statement to print hello world. And notice how at the end of the line, there's a semicolon. So keep in mind that every single line that you write in Java needs to have a semicolon at the end of it. Okay, commenting in Java. So if you don't know what comments in coding are, comments are basically not read or executed. So you don't need a semicolon for it because it's not actual code. It is usually used to either just explain what's happening in the code or just document your code in case you want to go back in later and find out like what you wrote the code for. So if it's a single line comment like this, then you just put a double slash in the beginning of it. And if it's a multiple line comment, like you want to comment out multiple lines of code, you put a slash asterisk at the beginning of the code, and then you put an asterisk slash at the end of the code that you want to comment out. Okay, let's do a quick challenge problem. So try creating a program which prints, hello, my name is with your name, and I love Java, and then create a single line comment saying what your favorite color is, and then say a multiple line comment which describes anything about Java. You guys can pause this video and try this out and then unpause when you are ready. All right, so this is the answer. This is the print statement. Notice that for a print statement, you need to write system.out.println and then in parentheses and then in quotes, you're going to write exactly what you want to print out with a semicolon at the end. And then these are your two comments, a double slash for the single line comment and the slash asterisks for the double line comment. Okay, now let's go into variables. So first, what are variables? Variables are containers to store data values. So let's think about math. When you have an equation like y equals mx plus b, every single value in this equation is a variable which has a specific value. So in coding, variables can have multiple data types. Some of the common ones are strings, which are basically just text, a float, which is a decimal, an int, or which is short for integer, which is a whole number, char, which is short for character, which is a single letter, Boolean, which holds either a true or a false value, and the last one is an array list of values. And of course, there's a lot more. These are just the main ones. Okay, how do you declare and use a variable? So to declare a variable, this is the syntax you need to use. first you say the data type, like int, char, bool, string, whatever. Then over here, you write the name of your variable, and then you're going to put equals to show assignment, and then write the value that you want to store in the variable. So again, the type can be of any variable type, the name can be any name, and the value can be, it has to be fitting according to whatever type that you assign. And you can easily print out what the value of the variable is by just using a print statement, but notice how there's no quotes around variable name because you want to print the value inside variable name. You don't want to print the word variable name. And variables have multiple different purposes, much farther than just printing out what their value is. They can be used to store a value that changes. It can be used when checking a condition. It can be used to reassign a new value. And variables just help make your code more cleaner and dynamic. Okay, let's look at a couple examples of using variables in code. So over here, we're creating a couple of number variables. This first one is creating an integer. Notice how 10 is a whole number. So that is an integer. A float, again, is a decimal. So negative 3.14 works as a decimal. True or false value is a Boolean. So when you're creating a Boolean variable, you have to write bool, of course, short for Boolean, put some variable name, and then either assign it to false or true. And then the last two, chars are again used for just single letters like A, and then strings are used for words or multiple words. All right, let's just go over some variable naming convention really quickly. So it's very important for coders to keep up with the variable naming convention to make their code easy to read and execute efficiently without error. So a couple of naming conventions which are important are to use the final keyword before the name of a variable if you do not want to ever change the value of the variable. That means that the variable is constant and you're never going to try to reassign the variable or change the value inside of it. So for example, pi is a constant. Pi just has one value, 3.14159, etc. So you're never going to change the value of pi, right? And then also keep in mind, you should always try to begin your variable name with the lowercase letter. And then for every single word after the first word, you're going to start it with a uppercase letter. So for example, my super cool number that I like a lot, you'll notice how the first word is all lowercase. And after that, every single word starts with an uppercase letter. So don't use long variable names like this. You want to keep it really short, like just num would have been perfectly fine over there. But also don't keep it too short that's too vague, like A, B, C. Put like proper, like so that when you go back later, you know what value the variable is holding. All right, and then to avoid errors, do not make your variable name start with spaces, use special characters, or use preset Java words. Like your variable name cannot be void because void means something totally else in Java, and it won't understand that you're trying to reference your variable when you try to call on it. Okay, let's do one more challenge problem about variables. So I want you guys to try making two integer variables which store the numbers 3 and 2, and then store the result of x divided by y as z, and then display z. Make all these variables floats, not integers. All right, you can pause the video and try this out for yourself. All right, perfect. So the solution to this is that first you create a float variable called x, assign it to 3, float variable called y, assign it to 2, and then just do division as normal. So say that float z equals x divided by y, and this will store 3 divided by 2 into z, which is 1.5. So if you run this code, it should print out 1.5. All right, last thing, user input. So you can always make the variables yourself when you're coding, but what if you want the user's input in them? This way you can ask the user a question, and then whatever their response is, you can store that response in the variable. So how you do this is using the scanner class. So first you have to make sure that you import the scanner class at the very top of your code. And then inside of your main method, you create a scanner object by saying scanner and then name it whatever you want, new scanner system.in. And then you ask a question like enter password. And then whatever the user puts, you're going to store that into a variable that you make. For example, here we named it password. And then you can print it out if you want or whenever you want to do it. So it doesn't always have to be scanner.nextLine. You can say next Boolean, next byte, next double, next float, if you have a specific data type in mind that you know is going to be the variable type. And then for user output, you can just print it out. As always, we've been already practicing this. Just use a print statement to print out whatever variable you have or any user input that you have. All right, let's do one last challenge problem about this. Try creating a program which asks the user for their name and store it in a variable and then print their name out. So take a second, pause the video, and try this out. All right, here's the answer. So you can see we create a new scanner object, name it my scanner, ask the name, enter username, and then store it into a variable called username, and then print out username is, and then the variable that you just created. All right, cool. So that's the end of the video. If you guys want, you guys can try this by yourself. Try creating a program which asks the user for their name, so use user input, grade level, and favorite subject, and then output a greeting that says, hello, name, you're in grade, and your favorite subject is subject. Yeah, but that's it for this first lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and definitely check out the rest of our series for more information about Java and its application to robotics. All right, thank you.